You are alone, reading or walking or lost somewhere inside your own thoughts, and then, out of nowhere, it arrives. The unmistakable feeling that someone, somewhere is watching you. You look up, you turn around. Sometimes a stranger really is staring and quickly glances away, and sometimes there is no one there at all. Everyone alive has felt this. The prickle on the back of the neck. The quiet certainty that eyes are on you. Most people assume it is a kind of sixth sense, some invisible signal passing between you and a hidden watcher. But the real answer is far stranger, and it lives entirely inside your own head. Because the feeling of being watched is not a message from the outside world. It is one of the oldest survival systems your brain owns, running quietly in the background and every so often firing a little too well. To understand it, start with a simple fact about your brain. It is obsessed with eyes. Out of everything in a busy scene, the colors and shapes and movement and faces, your brain finds eyes almost instantly, and it treats them as special. There is a strip of tissue running along the side of your brain called the superior temporal sulcus that seems devoted to a single task, working out where other eyes are pointed. Are they aimed away from you? Or are they aimed directly at you? Deeper in sits an almond-shaped alarm center called the amygdala, and it flares the moment a gaze locks onto yours. Your brain does not treat a pair of watching eyes as just another object in the room. It treats them as an event. Experiments show just how fast this runs. Place a single face with eyes staring straight at you into a crowd of faces all looking away, and that one face seems to leap out, spotted faster than any of the others. Your attention is dragged toward the gaze aimed at you automatically before you have decided to look at anything. Psychologists call it the stare in the crowd effect, and you have felt it 1,000 times without ever naming it. The way a single direct look across a room can pull your eyes straight to it, like a magnet you did not agree to. Why would evolution build a machine this finely tuned to a glance? Because for your ancestors, a gaze was almost never neutral. Eyes pointed at you could mean a predator in the long grass choosing its target. They could mean a rival sizing you up. They could mean a stranger deciding in a heartbeat whether you were friend or threat. In a world like that, noticing eyes on you first could be the whole difference between living and dying. And the humans who noticed, who felt watched and turned to check, were the ones who survived long enough to become you. There is even a name for the logic underneath this. Researchers who study how the mind handles danger describe what is sometimes called the smoke detector principle. A smoke alarm that occasionally shrieks at burnt toast is merely annoying. A smoke alarm that stays silent during a real fire is fatal. So evolution, like a sensible engineer, tuned your threat detectors to err toward the false alarm. Feeling watched 100 times when you are not is a small price. Failing to feel it the one time a predator's eyes are truly fixed on you is a price you pay only once. There is a strange clue to how deep all of this runs, and it is sitting in your own eyes right now. Look closely at a human eye and you will see a wide patch of white around the colored center. That white is called the sclera, and it makes it obvious from clear across a room exactly where a person is looking. Now picture almost any other animal, chimpanzees, wolves, cats. Their eyes are far darker, the whites hidden, their gaze disguised. The primatologist Michael Tomasello proposed a reason for this difference, an idea known as the cooperative eye hypothesis. Humans, unlike other apes, evolved to cooperate in ways that depended on reading each other's attention, following a glance to a threat or to food or to a shared plan. So your species did the opposite of hiding its gaze. It advertised it. But that gift arrived with a bill attached, because if your eyes broadcast where you are looking, then everyone else's eyes broadcast it too, and your brain became exquisitely, almost painfully sensitive to the moment another pair of eyes turns your way. Now add one more piece and the mystery begins to dissolve. When your brain is uncertain about where someone is looking, it does not simply guess at random, it leans every time toward one answer. The psychologist Colin Clifford and his colleagues have studied this carefully and found a bias built right into human gaze perception. When you cannot quite tell, your brain assumes the eyes are looking at you. In dim light, at a distance, at the very edge of your vision, the default setting is not "they are looking somewhere else." It is "they are looking at me." And this is where the famous feeling, the one on the back of your neck, finally makes sense. You cannot see behind you, but your peripheral vision, the soft blurry edges of your sight, is quietly taking in far more than you ever consciously notice. A head turning at the edge of the room, a shape suddenly going still. a face angling toward you from a table across the cafe. Your conscious mind misses it completely. The older, faster parts of your brain do not. They register the change and shove a feeling up into awareness before you have any idea where it came from. So you feel watched, you turn, and there they are. It feels like magic, like you sensed the unsensible. But what really happened is that a part of you saw and simply did not bother to explain itself. So what about the times you turn and there is no one there at all? Here the story splits in two, and both halves are revealing. The first half is memory. Think about how you actually live this. On the rare occasions you turn and catch a stranger staring, the moment is vivid and it sticks. The 100 times you turn and find nothing, you forget almost the instant it happens. Your sense that you can feel a stare is built on a lopsided memory that keeps every hit and quietly deletes every miss. This has actually been put to the test. Decades ago, the biologist Rupert Sheldrake claimed the feeling was a genuine sixth sense, a real signal reaching you from the person doing the staring. It is a lovely idea, but when careful researchers, among them the psychologist Richard Wiseman, ran controlled experiments with people seated facing away while watchers stared or looked elsewhere at random, the supposed sixth sense simply evaporated. People scored little better than a coin toss. Under fair conditions, they could not tell when unseen eyes were on them. The feeling is real. The signal coming from behind you is not. The second half of the story is stranger still, because sometimes your brain conjures a watcher out of nothing at all. There is a specific, eerie experience that many people know, the felt presence. The overwhelming sense that someone is in the room with you, standing just behind your shoulder or beside the bed when nobody is. The neuroscientist Olaf Blanke traced this feeling to a particular region where the brain builds your sense of your own body and where it sits in space. Disturb that region through exhaustion, through fear, through the strange chemistry of sleep paralysis, through isolation or thin mountain air, and the brain can generate a phantom. It takes the map of your own body and misreads it as another person, right there at your side. The watcher in these moments is not out in the world. It is a copy of you, filed by your own brain as a stranger. You can hear this phantom in some of the most extreme stories humans have ever told. Climbers near the summit of Everest, sailors alone on enormous oceans, explorers pushed far past the edge of exhaustion have all described the very same thing. A calm, companionable presence walking beside them, so convincing they sometimes spoke to it out loud. Ernest Shackleton felt it crossing the frozen mountains of South Georgia, an unseen extra walker shadowing 3 starving men. It became known as the third man. The same brain region, strained past its limits, does not always spin out fear. Sometimes it produces a guardian, but watcher or guardian, the truth underneath is identical. No one is there but you. So the sense of being watched can be switched on from outside by a real glance you half noticed, and it can be manufactured entirely from within, by a brain doing exactly what it evolved to do, turned up one notch too high. Now here is the twist that turns the whole thing inside out. You have always treated this feeling as information about the world out there, as though it were telling you something is present. But mostly, it is telling you about the machinery in here. It is the sound of an alarm system that was built when a missed pair of eyes could get you killed, still switched on and humming inside a world of quiet cafes and empty rooms. The feeling of being watched is not proof that you are being hunted. It is proof of how deeply and how anciently your brain is wired to keep you safe among other eyes. And there is one final layer, the one that reaches straight into the life you are living right now. Because that same circuitry does not only make you feel watched, it changes what you do the instant it fires. In one now famous study, the researchers Melissa Bateson and Daniel Nettle set up an honesty box for coffee money in a staff break room, and above it they alternated 2 images week by week. One week, a photo of flowers. The next, a photo of a pair of human eyes. On the weeks the eyes were watching, people paid nearly 3 times as much for their coffee. Not real eyes, just a picture. And still, some deep part of the human brain straightened up and behaved. That is how thoroughly the sense of being watched is stitched into you. A simple image of eyes is enough to change what you do when you believe no one is looking. Sit with that, because you now live inside it more completely than any human in history. You carry a camera everywhere you go. You are counted, filmed, followed and watched by more eyes, real and digital, than your ancestors would have met in 100 lifetimes. And the same ancient alarm hums quietly underneath all of it, shaping how you stand, how you speak, how carefully you behave the moment you sense an audience. And here is the final trick of it. Most of those eyes are not even watching. You share a thought and feel judged by a crowd that never opened the app. You replay one awkward second as if a stadium had seen it, when almost no one noticed at all. Your brain, built to assume eyes are on you, now runs loose in a world that constantly hints at an audience and rarely confirms one. So you carry an invisible crowd with you everywhere and perform quietly for seats that are mostly empty. So the next time you feel it, that soft, sudden certainty that eyes are on you, turn around if you like. Sometimes there will be someone there, often there will be no one, but something is always watching. It is the oldest part of you, the part that carried your ancestors safely through a million dangerous nights, still standing guard behind your eyes, still whispering the same ancient warning it always has. Someone might be looking, better turn and see.